Chapter 22. An old barren buffalo gives milk. Sri Guru was staying at the Sangam and used to go to Ganagapur for alms. There were about 100 Brahmin families in Ganagapur. Amongst them, a poor Brahmin lived with his devoted wife. He had an old barren she buffalo. Putting a rope in her nostril, she was hired for carrying load, earth, and other articles. He lived on the petty amount of the hire thus received. One day, Sri Guru came to this Brahmin at the midday for alms, and other Vedic Brahmins said, "We have good, delicious food at our houses." Still, Sri Guru preferred to go to this poor Brahmin. They felt sorry. Sri Guru wished to do parmat without Sri Guru wished to do parmarth without discretion of rich or poor. Sri Krishna went to stay with the Vidur instead of the king Duryodhan. He accepted the simple and coarse food at Vidur's house. Similarly, Sri Guru loved sattvic persons more. Even bad fate was changed by the favor of Sri Guru. It was the month of Vaishak, and so the heat of the sun was terrible. When Sri Guru came to the Brahmin's house, he had gone out. His wife bowed to Sri Guru and offered him a seat, and she said, "My husband will soon return with corn. Kindly wait for a while." Sri Guru, "Here there is a she buffalo at your house. Then why do you not give me milk?" Brahmini, this she buffalo is old and has no teeth. Moreover, she is barren from birth. So we use her for hire and have put a rope in her nostril. We live on the petty amount of hire. Sri Guru, you are not letting me the truth. You are not telling me the truth. Go and take out the milk and give it to me now. When Sri Guru talked in this fashion, the woman took a pot and went to the she buffalo and began to milk her. When 2 pots full of milk were obtained, she was surprised and believed that he was not an ordinary sannyasi but was an incarnation of God. She boiled the milk and respectfully offered it to Sri Guru. Sri Guru was pleased and said, "Lakshmi will live at yours incessantly. Lakshmi will live at yours incessantly." He then went to Sangam. When the Brahmin returned, he learnt what had happened. He said to his wife, "Our poverty is now wiped out. Let us go to Sri Guru." They both went to the Sangam and worshipped Sri Guru with devotion. As blessed by Sri Guru, the Brahmin had a son, daughter, wealth, long life, and they lived happily. Chapter 23. Liberation of Brahma Rakshasa, establishment of Mutt at Ganagapur. Next day, some people came to the Brahmin to take his she buffalo on hire. The Brahmin said that he would not give her as she was giving milk. He showed to the people the 2 parts of the milk she was giving. She was barren till yesterday and she had never been pregnant, yet she was giving milk. All were surprised to see the miracle. The news spread all over, and the chief officer of the town also came to know about it. He came to the Brahmin and asked him about the miracle. The Brahmin said, "The miracle has occurred due to the blessings of sannyasi living at the Sangam. He is an incarnation of the God. He came for the alms at the midday yesterday. As there was no corn at the home, he asked to give him milk as alms. My wife told him that the she buffalo was barren. The sannyasi was angry and he asked her to the milk asked her to milk the buffalo in his presence. It was really wonder that the buffalo began to give milk from that time. She has become a Kamadhenu for us." Hearing this, Gramadipati with his wife and children and other men went to Sangam to see the sannyasi. He bowed to him and began to praise him. Sri Guru asked him about his intention of coming there. The officer said with folded hands, "Instead of living in the jungle, Swami should establish a mutt and live in the town and guide us in the spiritual life from time to time. I will build a mutt for you." Sri Guru thought that it was a time to disclose himself to the society. He therefore agreed to the proposal, and the officer seated Sri Guru in the palanquin with the request and took him to the Ganagapur. To the accompaniment of the music, all the people of the town came for the Guru's darshan and worshipped him. They praised him with the words, "Hail, O Lord, victory to you." The Swami reached the south gate of the town. There was a peepal tree there in which a ferocious demon was living for a long time. He had begun very cruel in his previous life. He had been very cruel in his previous life. All houses around the tree had been destroyed, but when the demon saw Sri Guru coming in the procession, he ran towards him, bowed at his lotus feet, and said, "O Guru, lend him me. Your darshan has destroyed all my bad qualities." Guru said, "Go to the Sangam immediately, take a bath in it, and then your sins will be washed away and you will get liberation." The demon then took a bath in the Sangam, returned and bowed at Guru's feet. Sri Guru placed his hand on the demon's head and blessed him. Thereupon, the demon changed into human being and was liberated from his curse. During Sri Guru's Samran, he left the place. All those during Sri Guru's Smaran, he left the place. All those who saw this incident said, "O Guru, you are not a mortal being. You are a manifestation of Dattatreya himself. Victory to you, O Sri Guru Deva Datta." Has promised, Gramadipati built a mat for Sri Guru and worshipped him every day with devotion. Sri Guru went to the Sangam every day for Anushtan. The Gramadipati took him there in a palanquin and went with him. Thus the Guru's fame spread far and wide, and with the touch of his lotus feet, Ganagapur became a Punya Kshetra, a holy place of pilgrimage. Chapter 24. Trivikram Bharati sees Vishwarupa of Sri Guru. Kaumasi is a village near Ganagapur. Here lived Trivikram Bharati, who had studied three Vedas. He was a devotee of Sri Narahari. Hearing the same of Sri Guru, he said, "Such kind of a high living does not become a sannyasi." He criticized Sri Guru in this way. Sri Guru asked Gramadipati to arrange for going to Kaumasi. Elephant, horses, pageantry, and musicians were gathered. Sri Guru was seated in a palaki, and a grand procession started towards the Kaumasi. As usual, Trivikrama was worshipping Narahari in his mind, but he could not see the shrine of Narahari in meditation. He saw all the persons with sannyasis with the stick in the hand and having the appearance of Sri Narahari. He was amazed. He fell flat before the procession praying, "You are Trimurti God, Guru of the universe. I could not know you due to my ignorance. Kindly disclose yourself in your real form. You are all-pervading Narasimha Saraswati. I see here that all are yatis having the same appearance. I see here that all are the yatis having same appearance. I cannot recognize you and bow to you. I have committed many sins, but I have been doing you Manas Puja daily. It seems that it is bearing fruit today, and I have the pleasure to see thyself. You have descended for the liberation of the ignorant persons like us. So kindly show me your real hallowed form." Being praised by Trivikrama in this way, Sri Guru appeared before him in his real form in the procession. Sri Guru said to him, "You have been criticizing me and have called me pretender. Just tell me who is a pretender." Trivikram said, "Kindly pardon me. Wipe off my ignorance. I am sinking in the sea of the ignorance. Give me a lift in the boat of the knowledge and take me with you." Sri Krishna showed Vishwarupa to Arjuna, and similarly, "You have favored me by showing your universal form. O Guru of the universe, your greatness cannot be fully described by the people like me. Sri Guru, you have known the Paramatma. You will not have any birth hereafter." Blessing Trivikrama, Sri Guru returned back to Ganagapur. Chapter 25. Impudent Brahmins' Vanity. There was a cruel Muslim king in the Vidura. He used to call the Brahmins, ask them to recite the Vedas and explain the meaning. He would then give money to such Brahmins. He would say that if the Brahmin killed the animals in sacrifices, then why should they blame us for killing the animals? One day, two Brahmins, knowing three Vedas, came to the king and said to him, "If there are any learned Brahmins in your city, call them to discuss with us on all the four Vedas." The king inquired, but no learned Brahmin came forward to discuss with these Brahmins. They decided to visit other places in the country and discuss Vedas with the Brahmins and obtain victory certificates from them. In course of the time, they came to Kaumasi and visited Trivikrama Bharati for the discussion, or else demanded a certificate for a victory. Trivikrama Bharati humbly declined to discuss, but due to the persistence, he said, "My Gurudev resides at Ganagapur. Let us go there. You will be given certificates if necessary." Trivikrama Bharati and the two Brahmins came to Ganagapur. Trivikrama bowed to Sri Guru and told him why those Brahmins had come there. Sri Guru asked Brahmins, why do you want to discuss? "We being sannyasis do not give any importance to victory or defeat. What will you gain by such discussions?" The Brahmins said, "We have roamed all over the country and have won victory everywhere. Here we have several certificates of the victory. Hence you and Trivikrama can both discuss with us." Sri Guru, "Vanity results in the destruction What was Bali's fate? What did Banasur gain? Ravana and Kauravas have also perished. Even Brahma and others do not know all the Vedas. So think over again and give up the idea of discussing. Still, he impudent Brahmins insisted to have a discussion. Chapter 26 Vedas analyzed. Sri Guru said, even rishis had to take great pains to learn Vedas. In Kali Yuga, the span of the life being short, it is impossible to learn all Vedas completely. Bharadwaja asked Brahmadev to teach him the Vedas. Brahmadev showed him 3 heaps of the Vedas, and which appeared as huge as hills. Bharadwaja was stunned to see them, and he then requested Brahmadev to give as much of Vedas as he could learn. Brahmadev gave him 3 handful of Vedas. He could not study even these. Mantras of the 3 Vedas were separated, which formed the 4th Veda, Atharva Veda. Vyasa, the incarnation of Sri Vishnu, taught these 4 Vedas to his 4 disciples. He narrated Rig Veda to Pali. It was tall and a prominent neck. It had a sharp sight and was bright as sun. Its Gotra was Atri, its god. Brahma, its Chanda meter is Gayatri, and Upaveda is Ayurveda. It has 5 parts. And 6 Brahmans and Arans. Vyasa narrated Vishwapayan, the second disciple, Yajurveda, which is full of rituals for different sacrifices. It was 5 ranti tall. Its Gotra was Bharatwaja. It was thin, and its Chandas is Trishta. If its god was Mahavishnu, Vishnu. It was also has bright as sun, and its Upaveda was Dhanurveda. It has 86 parts. Samveda is the 3rd Veda, which pleases by its music. Vyasa narrated this to Jaimini, his 3rd disciple. It is 6th rati tall, calm and controlled. Its lips are red and has stick in its hand. Its Gotra is Kashyapa. Guru is Rudra. Chanda is Jati. Its Upaveda is Gandharva. It is divided in many parts. Highly learned Vyasas narrated Sumantu, his 4th disciple, the 4th Atharva Veda. Its god is Devash. Gotra is Bhaijan. Chanda is Swachanda, and Upaveda is Astra Shastra. It has 9 parts and 5 kalpas. No one can know all these 4 fully. Knowing only a part of the Vedas, how do you say you know all the Vedas? Due to the knowledge of Vedas, Brahmins were highly respected in the past. They were called gods of the earth, Bhusur. Even the kings worshipped them. 3 great gods were under their control due to the strength of the Vedas. Indra and other gods were afraid of the Brahmins, as they could turn a straw into a mountain and a mountain into a straw. Sri Vishnu also requested the Brahmins. In the Kali Yuga, the Brahmins have given up the Vedic path, and so their power is lot. They serve lower classes, sell Vedas. Though they are several parts of the Vedas, many parts are lost. You say that you know 4 Vedas, but do you know the end of any Veda? So do not persist for discussion. Better you go away from here and do not waste your lives in vanity. The impudent Brahmins could not appreciate Sri Guru's advice, and they still said, either discuss with us or give us a certificate to that effect. Sri Guru was enraged to see their attitude, and he said, let it be as you desire. Just as a rat cuts the sides of a box, of a serpent, of a butterfly jumps on a lamp, you are digging your own grave. Chapter 27 Harijan becomes a learnt Brahmin. Sri Guru saw a man passing by. He asked his disciple to call him. He was Harijan. He bowed to Sri Guru and prayed for the liberation. Sri Guru gave a stick to the disciple and asked him to draw 7 parallel lines. On doing this, Sri Guru asked the Harijan to cross a line. The Harijan crossed the first line, and Sri Guru asked him who he was. He said he was a Kirat. On crossing the second line, he had more knowledge. On crossing the third line, he said he was a Ganga Sut, that is a boatman. On crossing the fourth line, he became a Shudra. On crossing the fifth line, he became Somdatta Vaishya. On crossing the sixth line, he became Kshatriya, named Godavari. On crossing the seventh line, he said, I am a Brahmin and I know Veda, Shastras, Vyakaran, and my name is Adhyapak, teacher. Sri Guru said, these 2 Brahmins have come to discuss Veda Shastras. You may discuss with them. So saying, he asked him to apply enchanted vibhuti to his body, due to which he looked more bright. Seeing this miracle, the Brahmins began to tremble with fear and started getting pain in the heart. They fell on the feet of Sri Guru and said, we are great offenders. Kindly forgive us. Liberate us. You are incarnation of 3 gods and gurus of the world. You your greatness is indescribable. Sri Guru said, you have harassed Trivikrama Muni and have committed many other offences. You will become Brahma Rakshas and have to suffer for your sins. The Brahmins again entreated, how shall we be free from this worldly sea? Sri Guru, you shall be Brahma Rakshas for 12 years. Narayan, a Brahmin, will come and advise you, and then your sin will be wiped off and you will be liberated. You go to the rivers now. The Brahmins went to the river and they had severe heart pain and they died. They lived as Brahma Rakshas and after 12 years they were liberated. The Harijan Brahmin said to Sri Guru, I was a Brahmin then, how was I degenerated? What sins had I committed? Kindly enlighten me. Chapter 28. Advice of the Karma Vipak to the Harijan. Sri Guru said, I will tell you the account of your past life. One gets birth as per one's good or bad actions. If Shudra enjoys with the Brahmin woman, he becomes a Chandal. Brahmins and the persons of other castes were degenerated if they lead a faulty life. One who leaves his parents or gurus and goes elsewhere and forsakes, one who leaves his parents and gurus and goes elsewhere and who forsakes his wife become a Chandal. One who adores other deities, leaving one's family god, and who speaks a lie, who kills animals, sells his daughter, takes Shudra's food, sells horses, enjoys with Shudra woman, gets fire to the forest and separates a cow from its calf, rides on an ox, become a Chandal. Brahmin, after going to the holy place, does not bathe there and does not observe 6 karmas. His first wife, being alive, marries with the another and forsakes the first, and who enjoys with the widows and becomes degenerated. Similarly, one who breaks tanks and wells, causes split in the Brahmin's houses, enjoys with the wives of the masters, guru or a friend, takes meals in the evening, runs away from the battlefield, leaving the master, tells the Vedas to Shudras, does not observe the Sharda, anniversary of the parents, etc., speak about one's virtues, administrators, medicines without knowing the pulse, and censures Hari and Hara, also gets birth in the Chandal family. One who learns mantras from Shudras, mixes water in the cow's milk, becomes a dog. One who criticizes Vedas, disrespects Brahmins, suffers from a stone in the bladder. One who causes abortions of the woman, becomes neutral, and even if he has issues, they do not survive. One who steals gold suffers from the syphilis. He who steals a book becomes blind. One who steals at his friend's house suffer from the glands in the neck, and a thief of the food articles suffers from the tumor. One who takes away another's wife become a Brahma Rakshas. One who takes away money offered to God becomes a leper. One who takes away money offered to God becomes a steals cow's milk becomes a leper. The bad results of the adultery are given in the Shanti Parva of the Mahabharata. One who embraces other's wife become a dog for 100 lives and then serpent. One who sees the vagina of the other's wife becomes blind, and one who enjoys with a friend's wife or maternal aunt becomes a dog. If a Shudra enjoys with a Brahmin's woman, both will become worms. Hearing this, Trivikrama asked, if one has committed sin, how can it be wiped off? Sri Guru, if there is a real repentance, the sin is wiped off. Prayashchitas, purative acts are given to Karma Vipak as follows. Take Brahmanand. Give cow with the ornaments and the charity to Brahmin. If this is not possible, give money. If the sin is minor, then giving of a gold coin will suffice. If a man and his wife both have committed a sin, both should take a prayaschitta or recite a Ayatri mantra 10,000 times or feed 12 Brahmins. Gayatri Krishchara Prajapati Krishchara means to take meal once a day or take madhu curry, food alms taken at Brahmins, and have fast for 3 days. Mild sins are wiped off by this act. In Ati Krishchara, take 15 morsels of food in the morning and 12 in the night, or take 8 morsels of madhukari food each in the morning and the night, and take ghee for 3 days and milk for 3 days. Live only on air for 3 days and then only milk for 3 days, and then take only milk for 21 days. A weak person can observe fast, taking tea, gur, prasad, padi, lahi in parna kristar, water in which leaves of the certain trees are dipped, is to be taken. One should declare one's sins in meeting openly. Tirth Krishchar means to Tirth Krishchar means to go to holy places, take bath, and recite Gayatri Mantra for 1200 times. All the sins are destroyed by doing this. Bath at Setubandha wipes off sins of the killing a child in a womb. Recitation of the crore of Gayatri Mantras wipes off even the sins of the Brahmahatya. Pauman Sukta, Indramitra, Shunakshep, Apamadhya, Tad Vishuno, Purusha Sukta from the Vedas will wipe off sins if recited daily. Taking of the Panchgavya mixture of the five things, Panchadravyas it is, Panchadravyas mixture of the five things, cow's milk, curd, ghee, cow's urine, dung, after repentance destroy the sins committed due to the ignorance. Brahmahatya, drinking, enjoying with the Guru's wife, a theft of the gold and cooperation in these scribes are five great sins which are discovered by the favor of the Sri Guru. Sri Guru told the Harijan, you were a Brahmin but you disregarded your parents and therefore you have become a Chandal. You bathe at the Sangam for a month and your sins will be wiped off. Harijan said, a crow becomes a Rajhansa on going to Manas Lake. Similarly, I have been pure by your sight darshan. How can the iron transformed into gold by the touch of the Paris philosopher's stone be the iron again? Assimilate me now amongst the Brahmins. Sri Guru smiled and said, you are born in the low caste. How can you be a Brahmin without a change of the present day? In the former times, Vishwamitra was born as Kshatriya. By the penance, he called himself as a Brahmarshi. Indra and other gods said, if your Guru Vashishta calls you Brahmarshi, we shall follow his verdict. Vashishta did not address Vishwamitra as Brahmarshi. Vishwamitra was enraged and he killed 100 sons of the Vashishta and came to eat the flesh of the corpse. Thus the Bhasma touched the dead body of the Brahmin. He began a sinner, was being taken by the Yamadutas, but as his body had the marks of the Bhasma, Shivadutas also came to carry him to Shiva's place. The Shivadutas attacked the Yamadutas, who then left the Brahmin's corpse and complained to the Yama, who came to the Shivadutas and angrily asked him, why did you take the sinful Brahmin from my men? Then Shivadutas told him the body of the Brahmin and marks of the Bhasma on it, and so as per the Shiva's order, we are taking him to touch the body with the marks of Bhasma. Being satisfied, Yama then went away. The Brahma Rakshas said, when I was the king, I had constructed a tank in the forest and had given some land to the Brahmins. So, as told by the Yama, I had the fortune to see you in the 25th life. Kindly tell me how the Bhasma is to be applied and liberate me from the cycle of births and deaths. Vamana Dev said, Sri Shankara had gone to the Mandrachal along with his Rudragan. Indra, Brahmadeva, Vashishta, Yaksha, Gandharva, Rishis also had come there to see Sri Shankara, who was seated on the beautiful throne, having 7 backgrounds, all very bright and made of a precious stones. He had the moon on his forehead, locks of hair on his head, Takshak on one ear and Vasuki on the other, and wreaths of the serpents around his neck. He had Trishul in one hand and Damaru drum in the second, and sword hands held different weapons. He was sitting with Parvati Devi, who was wearing rich clothes and ornaments. Sanat Kumara requested Sri Shankara to tell some means by which one could attain all 4 Purusharthas. Sri Shankara said, have Tripura 3 lines on the forehead and apply Bhasma on the body. This will destroy all the sins, such as taking the wealth of others, enjoying with others, wives, cajoling, giving false witness, stealing of the cow, land, gold, selling milk, flesh, salt, and doing adultery, etc. After death, one goes to heaven. Vaman Dev gave enchanted Bhasma to Brahma Rakshas, who applied it to his body and had Tripundara on his forehead. He was Tripundra on his forehead. He was at once transformed into celestial person, and at a plane descended to take him to the heaven. Though Bhasma was much greatness, the greatness of Sri Guru is still more, and so due to the favor of the Vaman Dev, the Brahma Rakshas was liberated. Chapter 29. The great power of Bhasma. Trivikrama bowed to Sri Guru and asked, O Guru, how did the Chandala get knowledge and how did it vanish after the bath? Sri Guru said, he received knowledge when I sprinkled Vibhodhi, the sacred ashes on him. His knowledge disappeared when the ashes disappeared. One who applies Vibhuti will become pure and whole and get knowledge of the Brahman. Then he narrated a story. In Krita Yuga, there was a Mahayogi named Vamadeva. He used to apply bhasma to his body. He was without pride and desire. Once he wandered into the forest named Karuncharanya. There a demon came to eat him, but as he held Vamadeva, some bhasma on the Vamadeva's body rubbed off onto his body. As a result, the demon's sins were washed away, and he received enlightenment. O Trivikrama, one's sins are washed away on once coming into contact with a person of good character and integrity. The demon bowed to Vamadeva and prayed for the redemption. Sri Guru asked the demon about him. The demon said, "Now I remember my 25th previous births, before which I was a king named Durjaya. I was a wicked king, harassed my citizens, including women, and drank alcohol. Due to all this, I had to go to hell and become a ghost for 100 years. Then I took birth as a dog, a jackal, and other animals. I was tired of all these births. Then I became a demon. Although I ate so many animals, I am still hungry, so I came to eat you. But the contact with your body has washed my sins away. I have attained peace and acquired knowledge. O compassionate one, redeemed me and explain to me how I attained the knowledge and due to contact with the bhasma on your body." Vamadeva said, "The power of bhasma is great and limitless. You touched my body on which I had applied the sacred ashes." With these words, he put the power of the Shiva mantra into the bhasma and gave it to the demon to apply. The demon said, "O Sri Jagat Guru, I met you due to my good deeds in my previous birth. As a king, I had built a water tank and have gave lands and cows to Brahmins. So now I have been rewarded. I have been purified." With these words, he applied bhasma to his body. On doing so, he immediately got a heavenly body. Vamadeva was an incarnation of Trimurti Dattatreya in the form of a rishi, a Jagat Guru. He wandered from place to place to redeem humans, and this demon bowed to Vamadeva and attained moksha. This was the story of Sri Guru told to describe the glory of bhasma. The power of bhasma is great. Even a demon was saved by it. But no mantra is successful unless it is blessed by a Guru. That is why they say no salvation is possible without the Guru. He is the liberator and the protector. Chapter 30. The death of a young Brahmin husband. When Sri Guru lived at Ganagapur, his name and fame spread all over the country. The desires of all were fulfilled by the favor of Sri Guru. Gopinath, a rich Brahmin, lived at Mahur. His issues did not survive, but the Brahmin and his wives were devotees of Sri Datta. They had a son. When he was 5 years, his tread ceremony was celebrated, and when he became 12 years old, his marriage was celebrated. When he was 16 years, the couple looked very charming, both loving each other intensely. Unfortunately, the young fell ill. Many medicines were given. His wife served him devotedly. He could not take full meals, so she also did not take meals. After 3 years, he developed consumption. His body emitted foul odor. Even physicians did not like to go near him. But his wife served and nursed him with great devotion. She took only as much food as her husband took. The medicines given to him were also taken by her. She gave up rich garments and lived a very simple life. The parents of the couple were rich. They were pained to see the sufferings of their son and daughter-in-law. Jap, Vrat, charity, sacrifice, feeding of the Brahmins and poor had been done, but all was futile. All were passing days in the grief and relying on the Almighty God. The young tried to console his parents and wife in various ways. The wife requested her father and mother-in-law to send them to good holy place. She said, "My husband would recomp his health there." Sri Guru Narasimha Saraswati lives at Ganagapur. His name and fame have spread all over the country, and Hans sent us to him. The parents managed for their journey to Ganagapur and bade them goodbye with the heavy hearts. On the way, the youth had Tridosh and they reached Ganagapur. The young youth died. The wife wept bitterly. She dashed her head on the ground, and local persons tried to console her, but it was in vain. She exclaimed, I brought you away from your parents and have been the cause of your death. I have committed a great sin. How can I show my face to them now? She fell on the dead body, swept and wiped, and she decided to observe Sati and burn herself with the body of her husband. In the meanwhile, they arrived a bright looking sannyasi with ash bhasma marks on his body, with a breath of rudraksha around the neck and locks of the hari on his head. Knowing the cause of her mourning, he began to advise her, saying, everyone gets the fruit of his actions in the past. You need not mourn on the death of his youth. Everyone who is born has to die one day or the other. When Ganga is flooded, logs of the wood from different places come together and again apart. Several birds come from shelter on the trees in the night and fly away in the morning. Similarly is a family life. Due to the affection we say my father, mother, husband, son, daughter, etc. But just as a foam of the bubbles in the water do not last long, so is the life on this earth. Life is like a dream. Do not mourn. Chapter 31st. Code of women's behavior. Hearing the advice, young wife requested the sannyasi to tell her how she should behave. The sannyasi explained to her the code of the female behavior. He said, this code is mentioned in the Kasi Kanda of the Skanda Purana. Agastya Muni lived in the Kashi. His wife Lopamudra was a great devoted wife. Vindhya Giri mountain was a disciple of the Agastya. Once Narada came to Vindhya and said, you are praiseworthy in all respects, but there is only one thing wanting in you. You are not as high as Merugiri. Hearing this, Vindhya got enraged and began to grow. He grew so high that he touched the sky. Due to this, the entire country in the south of the Vindhya plunged into darkness. Consequently, the Brahmins could not observe the daily rites and sacrifices. The rishis told this to Indra, who went to Brahmadev and narrated this to him. Brahmadev said Agastya is the guru of the Vindhyagiri. Send him southwards, and seeing Agastya, Vindhya will come down to bow him. Agatsa would then ask him to be in that very position and not grow high. In this way, the calamity can be removed. Indra, accompanied by the Brihaspati and other gods, came to Agatsa at Kashi. They worshipped Agatsi and Lopamudra praised them, and at that time Brihaspati, guru of the gods, narrated the code of the behavior of a devoted wife. He said, Arundhati, Savitri, Anusuya, Lakshmi, Parvati, Shatarupa, Menaka, Suniti, Sandhya Devi, Suryakanta, Swadevi, all been devoted wives. So is Lopamudra a great devoted wife. Every devoted wife dines after her husband has dined. She respects the guests, the elders, and greets her husband. When he comes from outside, he does not disobey her husband. She worships her husband, thinking him to be Sri Shankara. She serves him in the night and goes to sleep after her husband has slept. She gets up before her husband, cleans the courtyard, sprinkles it with water, and after bath she worships her husband and takes his tirtha, to dipped water. She dresses and wears ornaments when her husband is at home. When he goes out, she does not have a makeup. Even if the husband speaks harshly to her, she does not retort. She does not abuse him. When he comes home, she greets him and asks him what he wants. A devoted wife, when he goes out, does not look at other persons and returns home soon. She not observe any breath or fast. Does not give anything in charity without the permission of her husband. If there is some function, fair, or ceremony in the town, she does not go without the husband's instructions. If the husband is happy, she is not dejected, and if he is in the grief, she will not come joyful. If she is in monthly cause, she does not come in front of her husband and does not hear the Vedas. After bath on the fourth day, she gives company to her husband, and his absence she only sees the sun. She applies halat, kumkum, kajal, and wears the Mangal Sutra around her neck and bangles on her waist, and for a long life of her husband. She does not make friendship with the washerwomen, concubines, and atheists, and those who cajole their husbands. A woman should not live deserting her mother and father-in-laws, brothers and sisters. She should not bother putting off her clothes, all her clothes. She should not sit on grinding stone or mortar pestle, she should not argue with the husband. She should not behave in such a way that he would be displeased. Even if the husband is moneyless, miserable, weak, diseased, or thoughtless, the wife should consider him as God and be obedient to him. She should not compare him with other rich and strong persons and censure him. Devoted service of the wife to her husband pleases Srimati Dattatreya. A woman restoring angrily to her husband becomes a dog, fox, or a dumb or a pauper in the seven lives. Even if the husband is weak, he should not be disregarded. She should not speak loudly or laugh in the presence of elders. She should not look towards other persons with lust. If she does so, she is de-regarded morally. A husband is the soul of his wife. She is regarded auspicious as long as her husband is alive. After the husband's death, she is regarded inauspicious. While going to some places, if a widow is seen, it is considered inauspicious except to her own son. If the wife observes sati, that is, she burns herself with the dead body of her husband, she attains all glory. She liberates the person of 42 generations, 21 husbands, 21 paternal. If the husband is sinful, still she takes him to the heaven. Yama's servant also are afraid of the sati, the virtue of going sati in the immense. On the contrary, if the woman is adulterous, she sends her 42 generations to the hell. Those who have a sati in their homes are really fortunate. They attain four valas, purusharthas. The acts are virtuous. The home is like forest which is without a sati. In this way, Brahaspati told Lopamudra regarding the behavior of the devoted wife. The same was narrated by the sannyasi to the mourning woman. Chapter 32. Behavior of a widow, a dead husband made alive. Brahaspati told regarding the behavior of a widow as follows. If the husband dies in the presence of the wife, then should observe sati. But if she is pregnant, she has a child which is being fed on her breast, or if the husband dies at a far off place, then she should not observe sati. She should live as a widow. She should shave off the hair on the head, and else the husband goes to hell. She should bathe daily and should have only one meal every day. She should observe Chandrayan, that is, take one morsel of the food, and first day of the bright Shuddha fortnight increase one morsel daily and take 15 morsels on the Purnima. In the dark fortnight, Krishna or Vad, she should go on decreasing one morsel daily and take only one morsel of the food on the Amavasya new moon day. She should not take a milk, should not sleep on the bed sheet. She should not take Mangal bath or take a pan. If she has no son, she should do till Tarpan, worship Vishnu daily and act as per the Vedas of her dead husband. She should wear white clothes. In the Vaishaka month, she should give an earthen vessel in the charity. In the Kartika Deepa, she should be given to a Brahmin. She should offer umbrellas and shoes to the person going on a pilgrimage. She should take a meal cooked out only of one corn in Kartika. Whatever Vrat she observes, its Udhyapam ending function should also be duly done. If she has a son, she should act as per his wishes. Widows behaving in this way are virtuous, and even if their husbands are suffering in the hell, they would take them to heaven after the death. Brahaspati told to Lopamudra in relationship with the code of the female behavior, and the same was narrated by the sannyasi to the bewrayed young woman. Then he said, you now act as your wish. If you have courage, you can observe sati, and if you act as a widow, it will be virtuous. Bowing to the sannyasi, the woman said, you are like my parents, brother and all. I have no relatives here. You have told me the rules of behavior of sati and widow. I think it will be difficult for me to act as a widow, for as I am young and fair, the people at large will speak ill of me, so I think it is better to observe sati. You kindly give me your blessings. Sannyasi blessed her and said, you have come from a long distance with your deceased husband to see Sri Guru. What was destined to happen has happened. Even great men, as Harishchandra, Bhishma, could not avoid it. Still, you better see Sri Guru, who can even win Kal and then observe sati. He applied basma to her forehead and gave her 4 Rudra beads and said, tie 2 in your husband's ears and 2 around your neck, and sprinkle tirtha on the body of your husband, and yourself after the Rudrabhishek to Sri Guru. After doing this, you may observe Sati. The sannyasi then went away. The young woman started preparations for observing Sati. She called Brahmins, gave prayaschitas to the body of her husband. She took a bath, wore a silk saree and then ornaments, applied haldi kumkum and became ready to observe Sati. The body of her husband was taken to the river and she was given in going in front of the corpse with the fire pot in her hand. The young girl of the 16 appeared as bright as goddess Lakshmi, and all wondered to see her courage. The pyre of the wood and cow dung cakes was prepared, and the young woman offered Bayan, Haldi Kumkum and Mangal Sutra to married women and bowed to them and said, "Please inform my parents and father and mother-in-laws that we are staying at a holy place and are in good health. Otherwise, out of grief, they will give up their lives." She was praying all the way in the mind, "O Trimurti, your fame is widespread and you possess all siddhis. If a complaint is made to a ruler, he gives justice. If one goes to physician, he gives medicines for a relief. I am coming, crossing 20 villages with the hope that my husband will recover. I am coming to ask you how my husband expired on the way." She saw the Guru sitting below an Ashwatha tree and she bowed to him respectfully. Sri Guru blessed her and said, "You shall have Saubhagya forever." She again bowed to Sri Guru and he exclaimed, "You will have 8 sons." The Brahmins accompanying her told Sri Guru, "Her husband has expired and she has come here to see you before observing Sati." Hearing the Sri Guru smiled and said, "Her Saubhagya is everlasting. Bring her husband's body here immediately. Let me see when he lost his life." Some persons soon brought the dead body before Sri Guru. The strings were cut and the cloth covering was removed. The tirtha of the Rudrabhishek was sprinkled on the dead body, and Sri Guru looked at it with his sight full of nectar. Immediately the Brahman youth sat up as if aroused from the sleep. He was ashamed to see himself without clothes. He wore the dhoti and asked his wife why she did not awake him before and why he was brought there and who was the sannyasi, and the wife narrated to him all that had occurred. Then both of them bowed to Sri Guru with the devotion and began praying to him. All the persons who had assembled there were delighted to see the miracle. One cynic person said to Sri Guru, "This Brahmin died as per his fate. How can he be alive?" Sri Guru smiled and replied, "I requested Brahmadev to give 30 years life from his next life to this Brahmin youth." All were astonished to hear this. All bowed to Sri Guru and returned. The young Brahmin couple bathed at the Sangam, worshipped Sri Guru devotedly and pleased the Brahmins and poor by giving in the charity. Chapter 33. The Devoted Concubine. Chapter 33. A devoted concubine. Next, the young Brahmin couple bowed to Sri Guru and sat before him. The wife asked Sri Guru, "When I was mourning, Sannyasi advised me, gave me 4 Rudraksha beads and asked me to tie 2 beads in the ears of my husband and to put 2 beads around my neck, and also told me that when I go to see Sri Guru, I should sprinkle the tirtha of the Rudrabhishek on my husband's body and mine." Who was that sannyasi? Sri Guru smiled and said, "Seeing your devotion, I myself gave you the Rudra beads. Since do not touch them who wear Rudraksh." The significance of the Rudraksh is very great. One should wear a worth of 1,000 Rudrakshas. If this is not possible, then have a worth of 108 beads around the neck and 40 on the head and 12 in the both ears. The worth should contain silver, gold, precious stones, has diamonds, emeralds, pearls, coral, etc. One who bathes with the Rudraksha beads on his body gets credited of Ganga bath, and if Rudraksha is worshipped, it is like a worshipping Sri Shivalinga. The Rudraksha has 1, 5, 11, 14 holes. I shall now tell you a tale in this respect. There lived a king Bhadrasen in the Kashmiri, and his son name was Sudharma. The name of his minister's son was Tarak. Both were fast friends. They were the same age. Both of them had studied together. They were devotees of Shiva. They were words of the Rudraksha and applied bhasma to their bodies. They did not like rich clothes and ornaments of the gold and gems. Once the Paraksha Rishi came there, the king greeted and worshipped him. The king said to Rishi, "My son was Tarak." Both were fast friends. They were of the same age. Both of them studied together. The king said to Rishi, "My son is fond of Rudraksha and has no liking for the good clothes and ornaments befitting a royal family. Please advise him properly." Parashar said, "The account of the previous births of your son and that of your mantri is wonderful. There live a concubine in Nandigram. She was very beautiful. She wore golden sandals. Her ornaments and her bed sheets were webbed with precious stones. She had constructed a high class dancing hall where she sang dance daily. She had many attendants. She tied rudraksh around her necks and taught them to dance. And she was great devotee of Shiva and gave alms to the Brahmins and others profusely. One day, a rich Vaishya wearing rudraksha worth came to her, and he said he had in his hand a shivling of the precious stones which was bright as sun, and the concubine longed to have that shivlinga. She said she asked her maid servant to ask the Vaishya if he would sell the shivlinga, or he would give it to her if she accepted to serve him as a devoted wife for 3 days. When the maid servant told this to Vaishya, he laughed and said, I would gladly give this linga to your mistress if she agrees to serve me as a devoted wife for 3 days. The Vaishya then said to the concubine, you are a prostitute by profession and caste. How can I believe that you could be honest with me for 3 days? Take an oath for this. The concubine took the oath. I shall serve you devotedly for 3 days. He then gave the linga to her hand and said, I love and regard this linga even more than my life. If it is lost or destroyed, I shall give up my life. It should not be with you at sex play, and keep it safe. She agreed and kept the linga tied to the pillar in the dancing hall. Both entered the inner apartment. While they were enjoying, the dancing hall caught fire and was burnt in no time. Efforts to extinguish the fire were made, but the linga was burnt. Seeing that precious linga was burnt, the Vaishya arranged a pyre and burnt himself. The concubine was much grieved, and she decided to observe sati, and she had agreed to be a devoted wife of Vaishya. Her relatives tried to persuade her from giving up her life, but she was firm in her resolution. She called the Brahmins and gave money in the charity, and she arranged the pyre and took 3 rounds around it and leapt in the pyre of the pyre. Instantly, Sri Shiva, with the 5 heads and locks of hair on his head, caught her in his 10 hands and took her out of the fire and said, I am pleased with your devotion. You are really a sati. You can ask for a boon. I myself had come to you as your Vaishya to test you. I myself set the dancing hall on the fire and entered the pyre and got burned. The concubine said, kindly take me with all my relatives and servants to your place. Sri Shankara seated them all in his divine plane and took them to Kailasa. Chapter 34. Rajakumara and Mantri Kumar, devotees of the Sri Shiva. Parashar further said, the monkey has taken birth as your son, and cook has become the Mantri Kumari. The Mantri has taken birth as your son, and the cook has become Mantri Kumar. Due to training of the previous birth, both are dhyanis and devotees of the Shiva. Hearing this, the king said, You have narrated the account of the previous birth of these Kumaras. What about the future? Parasara, you ask about the future of your sons, but you will be grieved to know the same. The king, kindly tell me the truth. If it gives me grief, kindly suggest the means to get rid of it. Parasara, your son will live for 2 years, and he will die on the 8th day from today. For this you worship Umakant, Sri Shiva, the Guru of the universe, with Rudra Sukta. The significance of this Rudra Sukta is very, very great. This will save the life of your son. The 4 Vedas came out of four mouths of the Brahmadev. Yajurveda contained Rudra Sukta. Brahmadev told this Rudra to Maricha, Artre, etc. These rishis taught this to their disciples. Thus it has come on this earth from generation to generation. By reciting Rudra, all the sins are wiped off. You invite 100 learned Brahmins and take 10,000 Rudra Abhisheks on Sri Shiva Shankara. This will enable your son to live a long life. The king invited Brahmins as instructed, and Rudra Abhishek was started ceremoniously. On the 8th day, as a midday, the Rajkumar all of a sudden fell on the ground senseless. Abhishek Tirtha was sprinkled on his body, and Brahmins also threw chanted Akshat rice of the Rudra on the same. Due to this, Yamaduta did not dare to come near the Rajkumar, who soon awoke from his swoon. His death was thus averted. The king and the people were very much delighted. The king spent much in charity. In the meantime, Narad Muni came there and said, O king, while Yamadutas were taking away your son, Shivaduts attacked them and freed your son. The Yamaduts fled away to Yama and complained, and Yama went to Sri Shankara and asked, why did your Dutas attack my Dutas? Sri Shankara said, when Rajakumara was granted long life, why did did your Duta go to snatch him without consulting Chitragupta, record keeper of the living of all beings? They ought not to have gone. When record of Chitragupta was checked, it was found that the Kumara's life was 12 years at first. He was granted 10,000 years later on. Seeing this, Yama repented and went away. Your son got long life by virtue of Rudra Jap. His death is averted, and such is the great power of Rudra Sukta. Chapter 35. Kach Devyani. The young wife asked Sri Guru, "What is our future? How should I live hereafter? Please favor me with a mantra." Sri Guru said, "A wife should serve her husband devotedly. She needs no other advice or mantra. If a mantra is given to a woman, some calamity falls. This is evident from the tale of Kach Devyani. In the olden days, the gods and the demons were often at a war. Shukracharya, the guru of the demons, would recite Mrityunjaya mantra, and the dead demons would be made alive. Therefore, it was rather difficult for the gods to win the war. Indra, the king of the gods, went to Sri Shankara and told him this fact, and Sri Shankara was very angry, and he asked to call Shukra. Nandi, Sri Shiva's bull, went to Shukra, who was in the meditation at that time. Nandi therefore held him in his mouth and brought him Sri Shankara. Sri Shankara at once devoured him. After some days, Shukra came out of the body of the Sri Shankara through his urine. He again started reciting Mrityunjaya mantra and brought the demons to life. Indra told Brihaspati, guru of the gods, about the Amrit Sanjeevani mantra of the Shukracharya and said, "The guru of the demons makes them alive with the help of this mantra. You begin the guru of the gods by why should you protect the gods?" Brihaspati said, "If Sanjeevani mantra is heard by 6 years, it will lose its importance. So it would be better to send someone as a pupil to learn the mantra from Shukracharya. Let my son Kacha be sent to him. He will learn the mantra and return." Kacha took the leave of the gods and came to Shukracharya. He bowed to him and stood before him. Shukracharya inquired who he was and why he had come to him. Kacha replied, "I am a Brahmin Kumara. Hearing your fame, I have come to learn at your feet." Shukracharya's only daughter Devyani was standing by her father. She liked the Brahmin's youth and requested her father Shukracharya to accept him as his pupil. Shukracharya agreed, and Kacha started staying with him. The demons did not approve of this, and as they suspected that the gods would learn the Sanjeevani mantra from the Shukracharya, and then it would be impossible for them to win a victory over them. Therefore, when Kacha had been to forest for bringing the darba, a kind of a grass, the demons killed him. In the evening, when Kacha did not return home, Devyani requested her father to bring him home soon. Shukra, by intuition, knew that he was dead, so he recited Sanjeevani mantra and brought him to life. Kacha then came home, and once again, when Kacha had to began to the forest, the demons killed him, and pieces of his body were thrown in all directions. Devyani again showed anxiety for Kacha, and Shukra again recited Sanjeevani mantra and brought him to life. As Devyani was his only daughter and Shukracharya had great affection for him, the demon now contrived to kill Kacha on Ekadashi fast day. They then mixed his flesh in the wine and offered it to Shukracharya for drinking. For the third time, when Kacha was missing, Devyani wept and requested him to bring him to life. Shukracharya realized that Kacha was not seen anywhere, but he was in his belly. He told Devyani that Kacha was in his belly, and if he is taken out, he himself would die. Devyani said, "You are bringing to life all the people and saying that you would die. You are bringing to life all the people and saying that you would die. How is this? Kacha is my soul. If he does not come back, I will give up my life. Shukracharya, besides myself, none else knows the Sanjeevani mantra. There is a condition that this mantra should not be divulged by to anyone. If it is heard by 6 years, 3 persons, it will lose its effect. This is the problem with me." Devyani said, "Teach me the mantra. I shall recite it and make you alive." Shukracharya, the Shastras prohibit telling a mantra to a woman. Devyani, who was greatly dejected, said, "Then you may live with your mantra happily. I will give up my life." Saying so, she fell on the ground senseless. Shukracharya brought her to the conscious and gave her the Sanjeevani mantra. When he was reciting the mantra, Kacha, who was in the Shukra's belly, also heard it. Shukra recited the mantra, and Kacha came out of his body and tearing his belly. Consequently, Shukracharya fell dead. And then Devyani recited this mantra third time, and Shukracharya became alive. Thus Kacha heard the mantra thrice and made it by heart. Now Kacha folded his hands and said to Shukracharya, I have studied at your house so far. The demons do not allow me to live here peacefully. Kindly therefore allow me to go home now. Devyani interpreted, I have made you alive twice. I love you. You should marry me. Kacha, being the daughter of my guru, you are my sister. You made me alive from time to time, so you are like my mother. If I marry you, people will blame me. Hearing this, Devyani felt sorry, and at the same time she was enraged. She cursed him. Your learning will be futile. You will forget all that you have learnt. Kacha said, you have cursed me in vain. You will marry a person other than a Brahmin. Your father has taught you Sanjeevani mantra against the rules of Shastras, hence it will not work now. Saying this, Kacha went away. Seeing the Kacha had returned, Indra and other gods were delighted. Sri Guru said, for a woman, service of her husband is a principal mantra, so she should obey him and observe vrat, etc. With consent only. Chandra Gad Simantini. The young wife then requested Sri Guru to suggest some vrat. Sri Guru, I will tell you vrat by which your Saubhagya will perpetual and will be perpetual, and your husband will get prosperity. This vrat was told by Sut to Rishi in a former days. In this vrat, you have to worship Sri Shiva every Monday, observe fast on that day, and keep control over your senses. This vrat can be observed by the married woman having husband, kumaris, unmarried girls, widows, young and other persons of both sexes, old persons of both sexes. Chitra Varma was a pious king. In the former times, he had a daughter named Simantini, who was beautiful and good-natured. One astrologer had said that all the stars in her horoscope were good, but she would be a widow at the age of 14. The king and others were extremely pained to hear this. Once Maitrayani, a wife of Yajnavalkya, came to king Sintamani, requested her, kindly tell me a means by which my Saubhagya will be perpetual. Maitra Yani then told her to observe Monday Vrat and said, by observance of this Vrat, your desires will be fulfilled and you will get all the prosperity. Simantini therefore began to observe this Vrat devotedly. Simantini was married to Chandrangad, son of the Indrasen of the famous Nal family, with the due festivities. Chandragant stayed at a Chitra Yarma for some days, and once he went to Kailindini, Yamuna river with some friends. They were travelling in a ferry boat. All of a sudden, the boat sank in the river. Even after diligent search, no trace of the Chandragant was found. Simantini and her parents were greatly shocked to know this. Indrasen and his wife were deeply grieved. He lost interest in the affairs of his kingdom. Taking this opportunity, his enemies usurped the throne and put Indrasen and his wife in jail. Simantini resolved to observe the Sat as per the religious rule of the devoted wife. But as the dead body of her husband was not found, she could not observe the Sati rite as per the Shastras. So she was prevented from the observance of the Sati. Simantini continued her Monday fast and worship of the Sri Shiva. When Chandrangad was drowned, he was taken by the Nagakanyas to Vasuki in Patal, and in a beautiful city with the buildings glittering with the precious stones. The gate of the city was golden, and all the persons in it were like serpents. Takshak, the king with 1,000 hoods, was sitting on a bright throne. Chandragant was brought before him, and Takshak inquired about him with the affection and assured him about his safety and asked him to live there happily. After some days, Chandragant requested Takshak, I am the only son of my parents. I am recently married and my wife Simantini is only 14-year-old. My parents, wife, mother and father-in-law must be mourning deeply for me. So kindly arrange to send me to them very soon. Takshak gave him his nectar to drink and offered him costly clothes, ornaments and precious stones. He also gave him a soft horse and a Nag Kumar to accompany him. They instantly appear on the bank of Kalindini, where accidentally it being Monday. Simantini also had come with her female attendants for bath. It was the very place where Chandragant had drowned. Looking at him, Simantini said to her attendants, who is this celestial person coming out of the water? I remember to have seen him. I remember to have seen him before. Please inquire. Chandragant looked at Simantini and began to think, she appears like my dear wife, but how is it that she has two Mangal Sutra around her neck and Kumkum on her forehead? but how is it that she has two Mangalsutra and Kumkumar on her forehead? He descended from the horse and came near Simantini and inquired about her with affection. Simantini was ashamed to see him come near, and she told her attendants to narrate her account. The attendants told him 3 years before her husband was drowned here in this river. She is continuing her Monday vrat in grief, and today being Monday, she has come here for the bath, and her husband kingdom has been usurped by his enemies, and they have put her mother and father-in-law in jail. Simantini then asked, I know who you are, God or Gandharva, and why are you inquiring about me? She recollected the face of her husband and began to moan. Seeing her dejected, Chandragant held her hand in affection and told in her ears in low voice, you need not mourn. Your husband will meet you on the third day, but do not disclose this to anybody. He rode the horse and went away with the Nagakumar to see his parents. When he reached the outskirts of the city, the Nagakumar entered the city and told the then ruler, Chandragant has returned from the Patal with an assurance of the assistance from Takshak. He reinstilled the Indrasen on the throne with the honor, otherwise you will be doomed. The ruler was alarmed, and he released Indrasen from the jail and reseated him on the throne with the honor. Indrasen embraced Chandragant with the affection. A message of joy was sent to the Chitravarma, who, with Simantini and others, was greatly rejoiced to hear the news. Indrasen started with his Parnalya to meet Chitravarma ceremoniously. Again, a ceremony like wedding was celebrated, and Chandrangad and Simantini met each other. Chandrangad offered the ornaments, precious stones, fruits of the Kalpataru, etc., bought from the Takshak to Simantini. She attained all this glory due to the observing of the Monday Vrat with great devotion, as advised by the Sri Guru. The young couple started observing the Monday Vrat. Their parents also came there, bowed to Sri Guru, and they were glad to see the good health of the couple by grace of the Sri Guru. They gave much in charity, and then all returned to their place. And the couple later on had some issues. They used to come to see Sri Guru every year and had all prosperity. Chapter 36.